guilt, there's two definitions. One is that you have done something wrong. Mm-hmm. And the second one is that you feel like you have, and that mom guilt or most guilt, especially as women, like it's because you feel like you have, but that you haven't.
Yeah. It's kind of mental in a way.
Right.
Everything I've been through and everything that I've seen has turned me into the woman that you see. Behind all of the smiles and all your favorite melodies.
Hello, I am Leonette Talley, and you are listening to Virago 24/7. Virago 24/7 is a weekly podcast that brings women together to share our stories. My friends and I, we sit down and have conversations about things going on in our lives and in our world. With each story, I'm hoping to learn and grow and really realize that we weren't meant to do life alone. Here, you will find everyday growth, everyday healing, and everyday warriors. All right, so here we are for the very first time. This is the most I've ever had on Virago 24/7. And there's 5 of us. So today I have Erica Freeman-Jones and Rachael Wahl, and we call them Ebony and Ivory. Ivory and Ebony. No, I said Ebony and Ivory, yeah. Right. And they were on episode 3, which was titled, what was that titled?
Black People Don't Do Play
Black People Don't Do Play Dates. So welcome, you two.
Hello, ladies.
We have Lindsey. Say hello, Rachael.
Hi, ladies.
She's so shy. And then we have Lindsey. She was been on the past 2, Lindsey Yoder, on the past 2 shows, episodes 6 and 7, Anxiety and Race. And for the very first time,
Hey,
we have Meghann McNalley. Welcome her.
Hey, thanks.
I'm glad you're on. So today we have an awesome topic about mommy guilt. And all the mommies that I know have some kind of opinion on this. So we're going to get into it. But before we do, I want everyone to go around and just tell us how many children you have and how old they are, or just what, just information that you would think would be beneficial to this topic. Let's start with Erica.
Okay, so I have 2 daughters. One is 20 and one is 14. And it's beneficial to know that at this time because I've been separated from their dad for 12 years. And I've been in Georgia for the last 7. So I'm here with just my sister that lives here. So everyone else is in Michigan. And so I basically raised them on my own.
I'm Rachael Wahl. I am recently divorced and I have 4 children. My oldest daughter is almost 16. My son is just turned 14 yesterday. And my identical twin girls are 11.
That's a lot of children. That's a whole lot. Yes. Gracious.
I'm Lindsey Yoder. I have 2 kids, an 11-year-old boy and an 8-year-old girl. And those are my children.
I'm Meghann McNalley, and I have 2 children, Margaret, who is 8, and Charlie, who is 5.
And me, I've talked about them before, but I'll say it again. I have 3 kids. One who's 19, one who is 12, a son who's 12, and a daughter who is 10. And yeah, so, and I'm married, but with the 19-year-old, I was not married in the very beginning. I did it as a single mom. So I have a little bit of both perspective. I haven't been as long as Erica, though. No way. No way I could do that by myself. But anyway, so I reached out on Facebook because I wanted to get people's feedback on this topic because there's so many different, it's just so many perspectives. But I'm going to give a shout out to Angela Randall, who said, I'm going to read the whole thing because I liked hers. She says, all the mom guilt. I feel guilty for neglecting work to be with my kids. I feel guilty for neglecting my kids to focus on work. I feel guilty for spending time on myself or with my husband instead of with the kids. Guilty for not remembering all the things. Was yesterday ugly sweater day at school. I forgot this ice cream money again today. Guilty for letting them eat too much junk food. Guilty for not letting them just be kids sometimes. My guilt list is long, she says. Can any of you guys relate to any of this? Okay, before we start that, who has mom guilt here? Because I know Erica says she does not suffer from mom guilt. Right, E?
I feel that I don't. I may have it here and there. Maybe. Nah, let me stop. I don't.
She was gonna make something up.
I was gonna be like, well, maybe you and I laughed about this at the gym yesterday because I sometimes look at myself and say, well, damn, should I feel guilty and should I be feeling like this? Let me call my kids.
She's like, and you said you stand there and you're like, yeah, I don't feel it. I still don't feel it.
I don't feel it. It's not there. So no, I don't. And I feel like what I've shared with the ladies prior to this is that I'm a school teacher and I always knew that was my calling, but I don't feel like it was my desire to have children. I love them. I have them. But that was not something, you know how some little girls be like, oh, I can't wait to be a mom. That was never me. Never me. So I feel like maybe that's like, I'm like, oh, I don't get that feeling. Yeah.
You guys are lucky to be here. That's it. That's my contribution.
I wonder if the age of your children or the stage that they're in, you know, like your girls are older and, you know, if when you have littler ones, if there's, I don't know, just a progression of that. Like as you're a mom, not necessarily for you specifically.
She's shaking her hand.
Still no. I wonder
still no guilt.
for moms, like as you have young folks that need a little more attention and care and attention.
Well, and let me say this, a little bit of my backstory. In Michigan, I had a huge village. You know, I had Taylor very early. I had her at 21. I was still in school full-time, working full-time. Like, I only took 3 weeks off for maternity leave, and then I was back to work, back to school. And, you know, my mother and my great-grandmother, their dad, like, everybody pitched in to take care of Taylor. Yeah. And so I didn't have that. I don't know. For me, at that age, it was like, okay, go. I need to get this done. And, you know, everybody else, they got her. She's good. Like, I knew she was in great hands. So I didn't have that guilt of, oh, I need to drop her off and be gone all day because she was with my mom or my grandma. So it's like, I didn't feel like what you're kind of saying, like when they're small and they're younger, I just felt like, yeah, she's in great hands. I'm doing what I need to do, and that was it.
Yeah, that's a different factor too of how much, like, who is caring for your child when you're not there, and is it if it's family or if it's not, and that's a big factor.
I felt like maybe if I had to put her in daycare at 3 weeks old, that would have been different, but I didn't have to. I had my mom and my grandma, so it was like I didn't have those worries. So I guess it just never really developed.
Because I had that with Kaylin. Right. That first year, it was a friend, and then my grandma that took care of her. So I think you're right. Like, if it would have, and I went back to, I mean, I didn't have a choice. I was in school and working, and that 6 weeks, like, I had to go do my thing.
And with Nye, I was established teaching, so I was able to get the proper maternity leave. So I was home with her. And then when I did return to work, again, it was my mother and my great grandmother who had them both. And my mother took Taylor to school and picked her up. And, like, she did everything. So I didn't have to until I moved here. So
I can see why you don't feel guilt.
Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, that does play a huge part.
It plays a huge part.
Yeah. Because a lot of those things are about, like, maybe guilt over decisions you've made of, like, if you are in a position as a family to choose whether to stay home with your kids or not, like the amount of decisions you have to make of what the childcare situation is. Are you comfortable with it? Are you not? Like, those are big factors.
I had a lot of mom guilt with Margaret, and to that point, Lindsay, around the decisions you make. For me, kind of like Erica, I never thought I'd have kids. I was oldest of 5. I had to take care of them, and my folks were working. Never thought I would. And my career has always been really number one. And I had children later, met my husband. We were together, but we didn't have kids. We weren't married. And I was totally focused on my career, more so even in my relationship before we had kids, and continued to be focused on that. And when we had Margaret, my career was still first. And I remember traveling 10 weeks after she was born, and I was pumping in an airport. And I'm looking for places to plug in the pump, and I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? But I wasn't not going to travel. I wasn't not going to go for work. And there was so much guilt around that of like, should I be home instead? Should I not? But I wanted to be working. I wanted to be doing that for my career. And with Margaret, there were many, I think I've pumped in 20 different airports across the country. Wow. And there was a lot of that, right? And a lot of it was other people that I felt like I was doing something wrong. Like I wasn't the kind of mom that I should be because I was choosing my career over being with my little girl. But it felt like that was also a good choice for me. Like it was also making me happy.
So the guilt is it more you're telling yourself or other people are putting that on you to make you feel guilty? Because I think there's a difference. And then it's like, shut up.
Right.
Like, I don't need your opinion. Nobody asked for all that.
You know, I think that it's what we allow people to do. I think there was a stage in my life where I let people make me feel badly, which didn't matter. I remember Charlie, when he was little, I travel a lot for work, and there's a whole other point around wife guilt because I had a career opportunity, and Jim actually left his career and was a stay-at-home dad. And there was a lot of society stuff around that. I had friends who really judged me for that. I had people would say stuff to Jim about being emasculated and like not being a real man because he was staying at home, and that I was a terrible mother because I did that to my husband. And like, you know, I mean, just, it was wild. And I remember with Charlie, when we had Charlie, we had a nanny because Jim was working again. And to make all of it work, I had him in 3 different part-time daycares.
Oh, wow.
Right? Wow. I mean, it was like, okay, got to get him here, got to get him here, got to get him here. And I had a friend who said, oh, does Charlie have so-and-so at school? I said, I have no idea.
Not a clue.
I don't know their teachers' names.
She looked at me. I said, he has 9 teachers. I have no idea what his teachers' names are. I just drop them off and then I go to work. And
I don't know what the little boy does. I just know they take off and I leave.
I don't even know.
That's funny.
And, you know, but I had to just realize, like, for me, I'm a better mom because I love my job and I love what I do and I know I'm good at it, and that makes me a better mom to them. And I'm a worse mom when I think about I should or I shouldn't. And so for so long it was around like quantity. Oh, it's not enough. And now it's about quality. Like, how can I spend the time that I do have and make it meaningful for them?
Yeah.
Right.
I love that, Meghann.
So your happiness is key. It's key to being a good mom, you know? So, yeah.
That's the bottom line. I don't think kids look at
so we take that segue over to this one right here. Happiness.
Right, and I actually am just the opposite. I gave up my career to stay at home with my children. In fact, I had no family here and a husband who worked ridiculous hours. So it was me and 4 children ages 4 and under. 4, 2, and newborn twins.
No way.
And boy, was that difficult. And my parents would come about 1 weekend a month just to kind of hang out. But that was all the help I had. So now that I'm recently divorced, I don't have my children all the time. So I actually have mom guilt. I'm looking at my clock right now. I have mom guilt for being here today because I actually do have my children right now at home. And since I gave so much of myself. I gave everything of myself for their, I've only been divorced, separated and away from their dad, actually less than a year. And I gave so much to them for so long. And so now it is very difficult when I am away from them. I miss them. I enjoy the little bit of relief that I do get from, I'm not having to do everything. But now that when they are with me, I feel like I should be spending every minute with them. And so I do struggle with that.
Yeah, but you've spent all those years with them. Like seriously,
spent Friday and Saturday.
All those years.
All the time.
And so one little year comes around and you're feeling guilty. I think you need to let it go. I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist or anything, but it seems like they're doing fine. For my personal.
Right.
Well, and I think kids feel it, right? I mean, I think our kids feel when we're not happy or when we're putting unnecessary pressure on ourselves for whatever reason, right? And so when you finally say, you know what, mom's going to take that time, I think they get it, right? It's hard at first, right? But I think ultimately they see it.
Mine do.
Yeah.
I'm going on date night. I'm going on girls trip. I'm going out to eat. And they're like, bye. Because that's what I've been doing since they were little. Right. So they don't know any different. Like, I don't feel guilty. Bye. I'll see you on Sunday. And I don't call them either while I'm gone. Right. They don't get not one phone call. Everyone's like, I talked to the kids today. I'm like, no.
Here we are. You're girls trip.
Everyone's like catching up with their kids. We're like, Erica and I are like, I don't know what they did. Do you want to go have a drink on the deck?
They were Charmaine. They good. That's me. I'm like, they're good.
I'm like, that's why they have a dad. That's why I got married. So that he can do some things too. I don't have to do everything. No, seriously. I mean, I love him, but that's why I got married and then had the rest of the children. I'm like, because doing it by yourself sucks.
It does.
It sucks, man.
Yeah.
But with my kids, so like what you're saying that you focus on your career with me, I've always wanted kids, but that's what I wanted. So I admire that you did that. And I wanted a career. And so my guilt was, oh my gosh, I'm a stay-at-home mom with these kids. And this is not what I wanted for my life. I wanted to travel and have a career and like just be somebody, you know? And here I am in a house with 3 kids.
Yeah,
like feeling stuck. I felt stuck.
And I don't think people, our parents and our grandparents don't warn us about really how much work it truly is. I didn't find staying at home all day with a 4-year-old, 2-year-old, and newborn twins very satisfying. I loved them greatly, but it was hard work. And when I feel like I lost myself through that greatly. I felt like I no longer had. I still to this day, my youngest are 11. I still say, "Do you need to go potty?" Like for my kids, I still use that terminology. I feel like I lost how to communicate during those time frames with adults.
They're
so
in
serious.
6th grade, right?
They're in 6th grade now.
Do you guys need to go
potty?
That's hilarious.
I do. So
But then you started, so Rachael, if you guys remember from the 3rd episode, she has a boot camp that she started around when the twins were little, right?
The twins were 11 months old.
Okay. Was that something because you needed some you
yes,
time?
And I loved it. And I was so excited to get out of the house and focus on me for the first time in years and years. So, I loved that. And then that's where I started doing a little bit more and more and getting out.
Yeah.
And taking time for myself and not just focusing 100% on the children. Because I did give up. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree, and I don't use them because I chose, and there's benefits and disadvantages of that as well, which that's maybe another show.
Yeah. I know. It's like, that's true though. You get your degree and then it's like, okay, now I'm at home. It's like, what? Yeah.
Right. Because you experienced that same thing, right?
Yeah. And then you feel guilty because I should be happy that I have a husband who's quote unquote letting me stay home, or, that most women would love that. And I would feel guilty. Like I should be happy and I am not, to the point where I tell the story where, Corinne, our youngest, it was hard. I don't know how you did it, Rachael. Like having 4 under 4. I had 2 under 2, like 2 and a baby. And that was hard. I can't imagine adding 2 more, but, she was little. She could barely walk. I remember. And I felt like the house was caving in on me. So I packed a little bag. I said, I don't know where I'm going. But as soon as Philip got home, I literally handed him the baby. And I said, I don't know where I'm going. And poor guy is like, what happened? I'm like, I feel like I'm drowning because at the time I didn't have the friend group that I have now. it was just me, Philip, and the kids, and maybe like a few friends, like 2-3 friends, like nothing to write home about. So I felt very, very alone. Yeah. And I literally got in my car and I drove. I didn't get far. I drove like an hour out of Peachtree Corners and found a hotel, got a bottle of wine, got something to eat, and then I slept with no interruption. And I brought my Bible, and God spoke to me that weekend. And I don't remember what Bible verse, but I opened it, and it was talking about He puts you in a place at a certain time in your life for a reason. And you're not stuck forever. This is just for that moment. And it just spoke to me. I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be here with these kids. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I'm going to have my moment later. And I went home, and something, it's hard to explain, but something inside me flipped. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this time. It wasn't always, peaches and cream, but I'm like, I'm going to enjoy this time. And I mean, it goes like this. You snap your fingers, and like now they're 19, 12, and 10. And now I get to do this with you girls. And I have an awesome friend group, and it's so much more than I ever had imagined. So you feel stuck, but don't feel bad. Like you want to travel, Meghann, and you want to be with your kids or with your work. And then when you're with your kids, that's all they get. But they get a good version of you, I think. So,
well, I think as moms too, we do it to each other, right? I mean, it's like only recently has it even become okay to even say like, I don't have it all figured out. I don't know what I'm doing. Like everybody thinks they've got to put on this facade of, oh, I've got it all, right? I've like Angela who put that thing like, is it Christmas sweater day? Is it not? Like we put up this thing that we think everybody has, I packed a healthy lunch and I got this and I got that and everything's all lined up, but it doesn't have to be. No. And like, I think we as a collective mom can stop that to each other and just be vulnerable about the reality of it. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, working mom, single, married, it's just hard sometimes. Yeah. And that's just the reality. And sometimes we love our kids and sometimes we don't like them and we don't want to be around them. And that's okay.
That's the truth.
I know I have always felt just a tremendous pressure to be all things to everybody. And that's it's interesting to talk about, things to do with being a mom and what is just about being a woman in our world and what of those issues overlap. But feeling like I needed to be the good mom who knows about the sweater days and the things. But just pressure to have all of that together. So that, Meghann, what you just said speaks a lot to, I feel like, my experience of feeling a lot of pressure that is pressure on myself and my understanding of how I'm supposed to be. But then when I think about other women and how we need one another and how there's room for each of us to be ourselves, I think about the moms who are the room moms, like who have the capacity to do it. And I say, thank you. Yes. Thank you for serving your kids and my kids. And like, we need moms to be able to do that. There's no shame in the working or the staying at home. I've done both. I was home when our kids were young and back to work full time now. And we need the moms to do all of the things. Like we need the moms in the workplaces, advocating for women and being leaders and in those ways. And we need the moms who are leading in classrooms and taking care of kids. And we need to make room, as you said, Meghann, kind of in our collective psyche for women to be doing all of those things, and that's okay.
And it is okay. Yes.
Right. Why do you guys think women criticize each other for doing one or the other? Like, where does that come from? Is it jealousy? Is it insecurities within themselves? Like, I don't understand the whole pitting stay-at-home versus working moms.
Maybe some of both. Like, I mean, there are outside pressures, I think, on women.
I know, but why do you have to have an opinion on, like, if I decide to stay home and Meghann wants to work, why does it matter that her husband is a stay-at-home dad? And I mean, like, I don't know.
People cared so much. Oh my gosh, I can't even get over it sometimes, how much people cared. And I don't know why. Like, why? And maybe, I think at the end of the day, anybody's projection is because of something with them,
That's true.
And so I think that, if I'm a working mom and I, am judging some stay-at-home mom, it's probably because there's a part of me that wishes that I could be at home and that I wasn't pumping in some disgusting Atlanta bathroom,
They need to have like a room or something for that.
I am telling you, I used to grade the airports. Minneapolis Airport has the best. But now, I think about it now, there are lactation places in the airport.
Yes.
They didn't have that when I had Margaret.
Right.
At work, I had a janitor closet that they turned in because I worked with a whole bunch of men who,
I don't get it.
So I'm in my little closet. Oh, no. And now they have lactation rooms. I remember this woman at the Atlanta airport. Oh my gosh. I know that this isn't a breastfeeding podcast.
That's okay.
But this woman, oh my gosh, and she saw me. And I was like overflowing. I just got off the cross country flight and it was terrible. And I'm looking and I go into one of the Atlanta bathrooms and there's no outlet. Nowhere. And it was a woman who was like a custodian and she goes, "Oh, honey," and it was 10:30 at night, right? I had just gotten home and I was just bursting. It was terrible. And she goes, "Oh, honey, you need to let your breasts go, don't you?" And she's like, come on. Aww. And she comes and she takes my arm and she walks me to one of those family bathrooms, and she opens it and she's like, "You don't know that there's an outlet because your breast pump, you need the outlet." Sure. And she opens up the garbage can area, okay? The garbage can where how many people go to the Atlanta airport? Like millions of people, and opens it up and takes the garbage can out. And behind the garbage can is the plug. No. She goes, "Here you go." Right? Aww. And she wiped it down. And I'm like, I was bawling. I was crying. She was such an amazing woman.
You sat on the floor.
Oh, I just stood up there and held him. I shipped breast milk home with dry ice from Las Vegas one time.
You did?
No joke. My sister was here in Atlanta. She flew out. Rosie was out.
Side note, how long did you do that? Because I did it for 3 months, and I thought
that is
the
mom
worst
guilt
thing.
right there. I should have stopped at day 1.
Yeah,
but I thought I got to breastfeed. I got to breastfeed.
No, see when the baby number 3 came, I was like, this sucks balls. Like, who has time for that? And I guess I did because I was staying home. But I got time because I don't work. Who has time? I literally, and the nurses pressure you. I said, I do not want to breastfeed. And are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Right. I've done it 2 other times and it sucked. And I did not like it. And now she's allergic to nuts and tree nuts. So then I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I should breastfeed. No, seriously, I'm like, oh my gosh,
mom guilt.
Me.
Don't do it.
See, and that's why I'm like, I may not have had mom guilt from the beginning.
Right.
Because I was like, I'm not breastfeeding. They'll be all right. They're going to be all right on this Similac.
But they make you feel like you are horrible for not even
I did not care. I didn't care what people had to say.
I was 21 and I was
so was I. I was 21 with Taylor and I was like, I'm not doing it.
But you have that personality that you just don't give.
She about
3.
to get this
what do you
cereal
call it?
on a spoon. So I ain't staying up. Cereal. Grandma was like, she hungry. That's why she cries. Give her a little bit of that cereal on the tip of a baby spoon at 1 month old. My kids slept through the night. Both of them.
My grandma did that.
Grandmas know things.
With Kaylin, I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to give them mashed up rice in the bottle at 2 months.
Cornbread.
She's like, you don't know. She's Dominican.
Cornbread.
Oh yeah,
cornbread with the green juice. Yes, ma'am. Smash it up and give it to that baby.
But my baby was a pudge pudge. She was a fat little thing because she gave her food straight from the bottle. She would mash it up and make that tip of the hole real big so it can. Oh yeah. And I didn't have I worked and so I'm like, all right, she can't crawl at 10 months because she's fat, but okay. At least she sleeps through the night. No, that's a true story, guys. It's a true story. I'm like, is something wrong with her? The doctor's like, she's a little overweight. She's a big girl. I think I saw that rice and beans in my abuela's in her bottle.
Mushed up beans in her bottle?
Yes. Okay, maybe not the beans. I'm dead serious. And she would put it in her little swing. She would mash up plantains. I'm dead serious. I'm like, I get home and I'm like, well, okay. Hey, I can't complain because she's watching her for free.
Give her what you want.
Like, if that's how you guys do it in Dominican Republic, hey, that's how we're gonna roll. It's a true story. She's like, you don't know what you're doing either. I know what I'm doing. I'm like, okay. All right. So,
all right.
Oh, man. So let's go back to Facebook posts. So I have one from Christian Shadrach Collier. And she says, I think it's a real thing, but I also think it depends on your situation and personality. Things that I may have guilt about aren't going to be the same things as someone else. I also think it depends on who you have in your circle and who's speaking truth or maybe feeding the thought or feeling. I have people in my life who I call when I'm feeling a certain way, who look at me and validate my feelings and then positively speak into my life and get me out of my funk. But yes, I think mommy guilt is real. God has designed us to nurture and care for things. And when we feel like we aren't fulfilling those things, I think the enemy wants us to believe we aren't good enough, which is a lie. And I love that because that is the truth. And I think it takes a while to get to that point, though. I think for me, as the stronger my faith gets, the more I understand that. And so I don't feel guilty now like I did before, because I know that God picked me to be their mom and he's equipped me to do what is best for them. And they're happy little kids. So if I need to take me time, I mean, there's times where I'm down here, I don't want them around. Bye. I'm having alone time and you're talking way too much. Bye.
I love you so much.
Yeah. And it's like, they're fine. They're like, okay, mommy, like they understand. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I just don't have the energy for this right now. But some moms would think that's horrible. I don't know.
I wonder how much of it is for people who've experienced what it feels like to give too much of yourself. Like now you know to protect yourself. Like you know what you need. And so I need alone time. And I know it's important that I get it. And so I'm willing to tell my kids no or have them wait or ask them to leave the room.
Yeah.
Because you know what it feels like when you get so depleted.
That's a good point.
Like I know, I mean, just for my own story of knowing, of kind of hitting those bottoms of like, I don't know who I am. I don't know how to show up for myself. I don't know what I need, much less how to articulate it. You know, to get to that point where you're like, I've got to do something different here. And then you have better boundaries around like, here's what I need. And then other people, they're going to be fine. You know, like, so I wonder that the role of that in our lives to help us kind of get on the other side of some of those feelings, like what the role of, you know, your own mental health or, you know, acknowledging, being able to show up for yourself and then set boundaries so that you're healthy.
Yeah, I think that's what it's been, because when I didn't have me time, when it was just all about the kids, I was I was moody all the time. So
I stayed in an unhappy relationship for a good 2 years, and I did that thinking I was doing that for my children, and thinking, oh well, I can't leave; it would break up the family. I was raised in a home where my mom believed that divorce, you just couldn't get divorced. You just couldn't. The Bible says the man of one wife, and I was preached that from very young. And so I chose to stay in an unhappy relationship for my kids. Looking back on that now that I'm out, I realize that particularly my older two could tell that I was unhappy. And I wasn't giving my best to those children in those 2 years before I left because I was so unhappy. And my oldest particularly has just incredibly flourished from just seeing now that mom is happy and she has night and day turned around. But I do feel guilty, and there's times that I feel guilty that, I am the one who left the marriage. I'm the one who disrupted, you know, what they knew as their normal life. But do I choose my own happiness over what I think is making the children happy by staying in a home, you know, with their father? So I think I've definitely gotten better now that time has passed, but I dealt with that a lot, and that's really why I didn't leave for the longest time. And I know that's so cliche. People say, "Oh, I stayed for the kids," but truly, that's why I stayed. Because I didn't want to break their hearts. I didn't want to make them sad or make them cry.
But then, like you said, like I guess in your mind, you thought you were like putting on a good face. But when the older two know.
I thought I was, because their father and I didn't scream and argue. We didn't fight. We actually could get along. We just weren't happy. There was no laughter. There was no joy. I truly did not laugh in that house unless, maybe my kids did something funny, or, I would laugh with them some. But outside of that, there was no laughter and no joy and no happiness. And so, I thought I was faking it well, but I really wasn't. So,
and it was going to come to that anyways. Like, what if you would have stayed, and then the kids are grown, and then they're gone, and then you're stuck with someone that you don't even enjoy being with.
Right.
So then, what do you do then? I feel like you wasted a lot of years if you do that. That's my personal opinion.
Looking back, I really wish I would have left 2.5 years earlier than I did. But
you can't regret it. Everything happens in its time and its purpose. So don't regret it.
Well, and that's where what Lindsey was saying about the intersection of mom and woman, right? As a mom, Rachael, that decision, your girls and your son can look at that, and as a mom go, okay, right? You put yourself first, and you put them first because of that environment. But then also as a woman, right? Your girls can go, okay, as a woman, whether or not I have children or not, doing something for me matters, right? And so it's just,
I think that's where we get lost with the mom guilt. We have to remember we're women first.
Right.
I'm a woman before I'm a mother. I'm a woman before I'm a wife. I'm a woman before I'm a sibling to somebody. I'm a woman first. And so if you don't have that concept and understand that concept, and you don't pour into yourself, you can't pour into anything else, any other relationships. It's just going to be shitty.
Yes.
In layman's terms. But it's just like...
Is that layman's terms?
Yeah. So it's like, hey... That's funny. And I... Thank God I had a mother who taught me that from the beginning. My mama will always say, them kids going to be grown and gone. You better make sure you take care of yourself. And so it's like, I always took that to heart. Like, I'm always trying to pour into Erica and say, okay, but this is what I need to do. And hey, I'll be great to y'all in a few minutes. Hold on.
And if you're in a healthy marriage, taking that time for, because I feel like sometimes you have kids, not sometimes, a lot of times, and then the poor husband gets put to the side because the women are just focusing on the kids. It's like you have to still nurture that relationship because you can fake it all you want, but kids, we were all kids once and we sensed stuff. So our kids.
We knew. They know.
Yeah, we knew. Our kids aren't dumber than us. They know. So I don't know. But here's one that I think from Facebook, Cherie Reiner, that relates more to Erica. She's this was funny when I read it. I'm like, oh, Erica, this is right up her alley. I think mommy guilt is real, but I do not think it happens to everyone. I've always had to work to support my family their whole lives. I can think of maybe 5 times in 19 years that I have felt mommy guilt. I do not feel bad about date nights with my husband or saying mom and dad are taking a small trip without the kids. It literally keeps us both sane. So 5 times in 19 years, that's...
Wow.
We probably on that same page,
About 5, maybe 1 to 5.
Count on one hand, definitely.
I was like, look at that. That's funny. But from a different perspective, so my friend Tiffany, she doesn't have kids. She's trying. But let me see what she wrote. So Tiffany Flellen Cooper, she says, this topic, my mommy guilt is waiting too late. People have said that I'm selfish focusing on school and career. It hurts so much because that's not what I did. And then she says, I have moms who come to see me for therapy for their mommy guilt for that. So I guess that's another aspect of mommy guilt. Even though you don't have kids, you quote unquote waited too long. And So yeah, I pray for her often.
And then too, don't beat the moms up who say that they really don't have it, because I've seen that too, where it's like, oh, well, you chose to have them, and you get so much negative feedback when you're like, no, I put myself first. No, I go on date nights. Like, you get a lot of people be like, that's like, well, you chose to have those kids, and it's people who can't have kids, and you sound ungrateful. No, I love my children. I planned both of my children once I decided to become a mom. So it's don't get it twisted that I didn't want them and that I didn't desire for them to be here. I'm just saying, as a child and growing up, that just wasn't my plan until I met their dad, and he was a little older and wanted kids. So I was in love, and you dumb, and it's like, okay, all right, let's do it. So, but don't beat moms up, and I think society can do that in every avenue. You beat up stay-at-home moms, you beat up moms who work, you beat up moms who try to vent, and then it's like, oh, well, you chose to have kids, but I can still vent. I can still say it's tiring, and so I just feel like if society as a whole gets out of that, we can move forward and women can be in a better place.
And it's about balance. It's about, spending time with your kids, but I feel like in our society, it's either you're all in or you're all out. Like, why can't there be like a middle ground? Like, you're with your kids, you spend time with them, but then I do my own thing. Like, what's wrong with that?
And it's truly a balance.
Right, and I was not good. I was horrible at balancing when my children were young. Like, I even didn't have a friend group outside of my husband and my mom because I felt so all-consumed by children that I didn't take care of myself. When they were 11 months old, I started exercising again, and fitness became my tool and my avenue to take care of myself. But outside of that, I guess mentally, emotionally, I didn't. I took care of myself physically at that point, but that was it. And I do regret that as well. I regret not making enough time for myself, because I feel like it made me borderline crazy at some points because having 4 kids.
What was it, Erica?
Crazy. Just literally all consuming children for years and years and years. So I wish I would have balanced better.
If it weren't for you, Rachel, and stepping out and starting your group, we would not be together.
Amen.
Like, we would have never met. I mean, not in that setting. We kind of know of each other, but it's different when you're like in this group and this part of this community. So thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel.
I love having you like this.
So it was all your fault that we're all here together today. So that's good. So see, don't beat yourself up, because beautiful things have come out of it, and you just have to remember that. So,
I think one of the things that we also face right now in our culture is pressure to have really curated experiences for our children. And so there's, of course, this idea of like helicopter parents that you would kind of, flurry over them everywhere they go. But then I think maybe our generation has also like the bulldozer parents. I mean, you go before them and you smooth everything out. And, some of the things that we've talked about amongst us is this idea of maybe having a better environment for your children than you had, or a pressure to have this kind of perfect childhood or something for them that is just entirely too much pressure to do. And so it causes you to die entirely to yourself and then what you need, but just as if that's what is ultimately best for your kids. Excuse me. And I think I've learned in my own therapy and looking back on things with my family and, just acknowledging like they did their best and yet there were things that messed me up. And so like I look at my kids and I go, I'm trying so hard not to do intentional harm.
Yes.
But I also know it's their story in many ways, and there's just certain things I can't prevent from, in their little personalities, the way things land with them. I can't prevent it. And if it means later they're in therapy, and I don't mean that flippantly, like that they would need to have therapy, but later if they do, I'll pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's fine. I think it's healthy and I think it's good. And I guess I've had just that own kind of forgiveness of my own family of like, they were doing the best that they could and I'm doing the best that I can. And that it's not up to me to have this kind of curated experience for my kids, that I have kind of bulldozed every obstacle that they might face, including ones in our home or from me, you know? So just that idea, there's just a lot of pressure there.
Well, and I think to that, I mean, it robs our children of the fact that we're all human, right? Like making it perfect, pretending things can be perfect, pretending that we as moms can do everything completely forgets the other part of that story, the and part. Like, why can't it be both? That we are human and we are going to mess up and we're going to make the wrong decision, even if our intentions are so good. We're going to make the bad decision. We're going to say the wrong thing. We're going to yell at the wrong time. We're going to not spend enough time. We're going to spend too much time, right? We are human. And by trying to curate that, because we do, right? Oh, it's got to be perfect. I have to have them on all the things. I got to do, you know, they lose that opportunity to, one, figure it out for themselves, and that life is sometimes just hard, you know, and they've got to figure it out. And yeah, that ability for moms, I think, in terms of, you know, the mom guilt that we put on each other, is our kids need to see us kind of stumbling sometimes and not really being so sure on our feet on what's going on and having to make the hard decisions.
And being honest with them.
Yeah.
Like, being honest when we mess up. And letting them see our flaws. And, you know, I'm just all for like breaking these cycles. It's like you spoke to your point earlier where the generations before us didn't really explain how difficult motherhood was going to be. Like, it's not a fairy tale. It took so long to even talk about postpartum depression in our society. Like, nobody talked about that when I was younger. So I just feel like just being open and honest with our children about the difficulties that will arise in parenting, whether you're a mother or a father, but in particularly for us mothers, because we do it all.
It was not a part of like my upbringing to be like apologized to, you know, and and I try to model that. And my daughter is very intuitive, and she like looks at me and kind of knows my feelings and can look at my face. And sometimes I'm like, worry about yourself. Why are you asking me?
She's trying to analyze you.
Why are you asking me these questions? But you know, she'll ask like, Mom, are you mad? And I feel like when I would ask my mom that, or other women, you get no, I'm not mad. I'm just frustrated. And I remember thinking, but you seem mad.
Right.
You know, so I try to answer that question honestly, you know, to the point just about demonstrating and showing the stumbles and that I'm human. And, you know, and it's a little bit of a way to show up for myself in that moment of going, yes, I'm mad. And also it's okay for mom to be mad.
Yeah, it's okay.
I have to laugh because that you can say it so, yes, I'm mad. I'm sorry, you might not have to ask me if I'm mad.
They already know it.
By the time I'm obvious.
By the sound of your voice and the words that are coming out my mouth, right?
Or she talks or something.
Oh yeah. I like to throw something.
Lindsey's so cute. She's like, she tries to keep it in. Rachel's like,
They know.
No.
Yeah. I had to apologize to my son the other day because I barked at him about something. And the next day I was like, you know, when you're mad or sad about something else and then you just take it out on someone else and it's unrelated to the thing. I was like, that's what I did to you yesterday. And I'm really sorry about that. And so even like if I'm mad, maybe not at them or like they can just tell that,
that means a lot to a kid. We have to remember that they're human with their feelings and their emotions. So
Right.
I try to do the same.
And I've had to work on that. Because I came from a family where this grown folk business and I'm not apologizing.
Yep, same.
So it was for me. I had to really work on that, especially with my oldest. Like considering her feelings and not just being like just beating her down about something, and then later I would sit on it and say, okay, let me go back in here and be like, my bad. That's how I was starting off, like, my bad. And then later I got better, but it was a start.
That's good.
Hey, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Well, because it's true. Like you probably are like, well, that didn't happen to me when I was younger. So why do I? It's like tough it up. Like
Right.
we have to remember that everyone's journey is different.
That whole that suck it up. Oh gosh, I really had to work on that. Yeah.
I did that in the beginning with the kids when they were little, and for the girls sometimes it works, but for Khalil it's like, oh, I need a different approach because he's more sensitive and just internalizes everything. So that Puerto Rican waving hands and screaming didn't work for him. So I don't know if it worked for the girls, but they took it like champs. but yeah, just realizing.
I think that was a little bit of mom guilt for me. I think go back and apologize. I recognize one.
There's one.
That's one.
That's funny. But I don't want to read the whole thing, but Liz Buchanan Pierce wrote something on Facebook, and she wrote something lengthy, and it's pretty much what I've been reading. But she also wrote on here, she's feeling guilty because she says, I've not been able to buy my kids things that I would like to or think that they deserve because I'm at a stay-at-home mom and we don't have extra money. Guilty that I'm not smart enough or patient enough to help them with schoolwork now while virtual. And so she was pretty much saying that guilt is the thing. But I was like, oh, that's a different perspective. Like not feeling like you're able to give them things and not feeling smart enough. But I know her, and her oldest son is like brilliant. So I don't know if any of us can be smarter than him, Liz, just saying. No, she's, but that's, what do you guys think about the whole giving to the kids stuff? Like, is that a guilt?
When I read that, when I saw that she posted that, growing up, I mean, we didn't have a lot, and my folks, they worked multiple jobs, lots of kids. They weren't around because they were working. And as a child, you just, you get it. But as an adult now, my mom and I have talked about it before, and she has guilt from when we were little, like that they couldn't provide certain things. And I knew that we didn't have a lot of money. Like I knew that, but it was never like I necessarily wanted for something, but she and I as an adult with my mother, and she and I are good friends, and she's amazing. We've talked about it, and she has shared before about that, like feeling that guilt now as a 63-year-old woman with 5 grown women who are fully successful and capable adults, and so it's interesting because I see that she has it as a woman. I don't. I don't. No. I mean, I think that, there's probably something in there for me as a woman, like being a career-driven person. There's something like financial in there, to be successful that way. But that was the first time in talking with my mom recently about it that I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have a lot. My kids they're very blessed, but they only get presents on birthdays and Christmas for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm not the kind of parent we go to the store and I just buy you something. That's like they get excited if I'm like, oh yeah, I'll buy that for you, because they need to make their own money. Well, doing stuff, not going out, but they have their own money, and you can go and buy your own stuff. And so, and it's not like a financial thing because we can buy them, a lot. But I'm like, I ain't doing all that. So you can play with it for 2 seconds. So I don't feel guilty at all.
Yeah, no, not the buying things. I'm strictly on everything is earned.
Everything is earned. Yeah.
It's earned.
And you know what? When they have their own money to spend.
Oh, they don't buy anything.
Those little son of a guns, they are picky. That costs $30. Yeah, it does. Right. Do you have it? Yeah, but that's a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if they don't have enough and I lend them $1 for that purchase, you're going to pay me back. I want my $1 back. It's true. Because I want them to appreciate what they have and not just be handed, because we could just hand them everything. And I've lived where my mom couldn't provide. But I felt loved. So I knew, we don't have as much as others, but, we are fed and she dresses us well. And, and I have my little Barbie dolls and dolls and stuff. But with my dad, it was overkill. Like, that's how he showed love. It's like, let's buy the big house and let's, buy all the things. But that lacked. The love was lacking. So I've done both. And when you don't show love, to me, that hurts more than providing financially or with physical things. So show love. Yeah. That's it. Like, don't worry about the materials.
Mm-hmm. So how we
and ultimately, the kids don't want that anyway. Right. They'd rather have the time over the things.
They would, yeah.
And I hear so many parents say, I wanted to give my kids what I didn't have when I was little. And
spoiling
it's
the
just
little
not
asses.
Stuff. Yeah, kids are entitled enough as it is today. Like, every kid you see has
that's a
hot one for me.
That's another show.
I'm bored. Okay. Let's go into your room. Let's gather all the things and let's burn them. Then you'll really be bored. Or I'm hungry. If you say that one more time, go into that
pantry. You got one more time.
Oh, those are triggers for me. I will blow up. I'm like, there's nothing to eat in here?
Right.
It's not what you don't want to eat, but there's plenty of food in here. Don't you ever? Oh, they know.
Yeah.
I get hot. Puerto Rico comes out after that.
I was going to say, Puerto Rico. Looking at you.
Puerto Rico comes out because it's like, you ungrateful little butt crack.
Right.
We have food in this house, and you are not bored with all that
just picky.
shit that you have. Yeah.
You're totally picky.
You're picky ass. I get filled up.
There's Puerto Rico.
That is trigger right there.
It triggers me because I'm like, you don't even know what that means not to have. I mean, I don't even know.
No.
Not really.
Yeah, no.
So don't, nah. Come on now. Look at my kids. Do they look like they're lacking in anything? And it's not really all of them. It's just that little one. That little one is fire. She's fire. The other two understand.
I mean the one that act like you.
The little one. That little spitfire. She's the one. I'm bored.
Right.
With all your little toys.
How you feeling over here, Mom?
She's looking at her watch.
And for a minute, she stopped.
Right.
We're talking about mom guilt and Rachael Wahl over here with her 4 kids.
Well, when does that work?
Right, but one gets off work in 45 minutes.
And
I have to be there to get her because I don't want her to walk in the cold.
We are literally 5 minutes.
First of all, it's not that cold.
Right.
Does she have a coat?
55 degrees.
Thank you, Meghann. Walking is good for the soul.
It is.
I used to have to walk to work off of Holcomb Bridge in that same area where you guys live.
Builds character.
I lived with my uncle at one point
Absolutely.
for a little bit, and I would walk to the daycare down the street. Nobody cared about me. They didn't care about me. I walked to work and I walked back, and here I am. Living the life. It's not scary. I walked up. Oh, come on now. Okay.
So has the mom guilt eased? I know for you.
I'm good. Yeah, it's eased.
It's eased.
I'm on Erica's side.
Where are you ladies
I'm Team
in
Erica.
that arena of the mom guilt, like at current day?
Yeah,
like after
I still experience it. I think I am probably a guilt and shame prone person, and we have not differentiated between the two in our discussion between guilt and shame. But
What is that to you?
Guilt would be like I've done something bad, and shame would be I am something bad. And so guilt can be a healthy thing. I mean, right? Like that's what makes you go.
My
I did
hands
the wrong.
started sweating.
I'm really sorry. Therapy session. Guilt can be a healthy thing. Like it helps you know I've done something wrong and I need to apologize. Like that's a fine thing. Shame, when it becomes like I am something bad, that is where like it's really not healthy and or fruitful. And
But there are some women out there that have done bad things.
Sure.
that's right.
Children, so.
That's right.
course.
That's right.
I don't want them to think that they can be like, I did my best. Did you though? Did you do your best? We're not talking to those kind of moms.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. But I mean, I probably just personally am more shame prone. And so I will struggle with the guilt. Again, kind of being the all things to everybody. I also don't like to be dependent on anybody. And so I would rather like put up walls and go, I like grit my teeth, get it done, than maybe let things slide at our house or just not do all the things. So I do feel a lot of pressure to know when it's sweater day or whatever the event is at school.
I'll be like, you got a calendar, you know how to check the school.
Thank you.
Then you supposed to know about your own day.
Yes, write it down. Yes.
It's true. Now, I will. It's true. I'm growing in those things.
Okay.
My daughter will be like, we forgot to sign my planner. And I'm like, I don't have a planner. I'm like,
you have a planner.
And she's like, I forgot to have you sign my planner. I'm like, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
I've done second
It's
grade.
baby steps.
Like,
Yes.
I don't have a planner to sign. So I'm good. I don't know about you.
It's the baby steps.
That's right. Yeah, learn those things. But knowing I will be prone to that just in myself. But I know what I need more now, and taking care of myself and showing up for myself and for other relationships, for my friendships that will last when the kids are gone, and my marriage that will last when the kids are gone. Just have learned to show up for myself and in some more ways. So that does help ease those things.
I still experience mom guilt from, a good bit, I think. Probably a lot more than I should. So
You're still in that. To me, I don't know. I'm not in your in your shoes, but it seems like you're just starting that journey of healing and understanding who you are outside of your marriage, and being a single mom now. So you're just. You said it's less than a year.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's less than a year.
Yeah.
So I think,
so you shouldn't have it all figured out right now.
No, it'll be a while. And I think one thing I did learn to do is to start saying no to people and to my children and I can't do it all. And I used to be the yes person. I used to be the room mom that was room moms to multiple children. And
Bless you.
I was all of that.
We need to
I have zero desire to ever be room mom, ever.
Oh, and that was my dream. And then I had 4 kids, and I was like, I can't do it. I cannot do it all. I want to make sure that I can do good. Everything that I'm doing, I want to do good. And I learned that I was just half-assing everything because there was not enough of me to go around. So, but I still suffer mom guilt, but I think I'm getting better.
You have your best friend Erica over here. She'll help you with that.
That'll be an interesting piece when we come back for our part 2, because yes, very, very different styles. And whereas she's struggling with the mom guilt of leaving for a couple of hours, I'm like, they all right. I made dinner before we left. They can eat, watch TV. We can make this quick run. They're okay. And we'll be at her job to get her on time.
And they're not little anymore.
Right.
Rachel, I think you think they're still like little nuggets, but they're not.
True. And I think because of the situation that they're in, they now have newly divorced parents. I think I'm trying not to overcompensate, but I find that I do at times. I'm like, I need to make sure. Okay, I find myself overcompensating in certain areas.
Now, do the kids make you feel that way, or you're just feeling
that's
that
just
way?
me.
Yeah,
it's completely me.
Yeah.
Not in the middle.
That's all her. It's
all
not
me.
them.
I think the biggest remedy to mommy guilt is grace, giving it to yourself and to one another, and that there will be seasons that I think we might experience more or less, or and that will come and go. And so in those times of transition, if it's a different job, or if it's a move, or if it's a new school, or whatever it is that our families experience, I think that guilt will come and go. And so to not guilt about having guilt.
Right.
If you are experiencing like, I'm feeling like I can't show up for my kids in every way, and go, it's okay. Kind of grace for yourself as you're trying to be free from it.
And as your kids go into their different stages, you're going to feel different things as a mom. And so for me, I think I'm a little softer now. So it may hit me a little bit more every now and then, because Taylor is 20. And so she's entering into that stage of I'm helping her navigate a whole lot with adult life. And so it's like, then you start reflecting on, okay, well, damn, what did I do as a parent. Maybe I should have stayed home with you. You know, like you get into
Sure.
So as I can say that part for me, I know I joke a lot and I'm like, oh, I didn't have, which I really didn't and I don't. But it just, I think it also depends on what stage of life they're in. And I find it, parenting as a mother is a little more difficult when they're young adults.
I'm sure.
For me, the easier part was when they were
Stuff gets harder.
small. But it's like, and they're navigating
I agree
work
with you on
and
that.
school and relationships
Stuff.
of their own. And they're like, and you're trying to help them with that emotion. But then at the same time, like, not step too much into their emotions because they need to experience. Yeah, that's a whole.
Erica and I are in the same boat when it comes to that with our girls, because it's like, it's that balance of how much do you do? They're not children, but they're not adults. So that's been difficult for me too. But my thing is, like, it's not a guilt thing. It's like I'm learning just in life in general, not outside of the kids. I just take one moment at a time. Like before in the past, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like one little thing would happen and I would drag all the things from the past and bring it to the future and to the now. And I get so overwhelmed and it's like, no, what's happening right now with this child, since we're talking about mom guilt, with this child, and let's deal with that and not dwell on.
Right.
Let's not ignore it and be like, okay, figure it out. But let's, like if you feel like you've done things in the past that you could have done better, you can correct that now. You know,
Right.
like instead of feeling guilty of what could have happened, you can do something now.
Yes.
Right.
And I think to me, that's important. That's all that we would want from our parents, even as 40-year-old women. That's what I want for my mom. My dad's not here, but if he was, okay, let's forget the past. Let's just work on what we can do now moving forward. Right. I would have appreciated that, before he passed away. And we were getting on that track and it meant a lot.
Right.
And I really was like, okay, let's start anew. So I think that's important to do moving forward.
I think in terms of the question of like, where are you with mom guilt, like on the mom guilt spectrum? I mean, being really honest, I think I still suffer from it in so many ways. And it's a process. I think when you were talking about, the buying things and that, I mean, I think about just in the last couple of years where I would absolutely where I would feel so guilty for not being home, for being gone, and that time on the weekends. I would take them and I would take them to lunch and we would buy stuff and we would do stuff. And it was like the fun mom, right? Because, I'm going to be the fun mom. And I think about it now, what that decision was, it was, they didn't want any of that. Yeah. And truly looking at it now going, okay, I'm going through that point of, the therapy, the self sort of actualization around what's going on. What does that actually mean? And saying, oh, wow, okay, I got to fix that because it didn't work. It goes back to the time. And so there, I would say, honestly, I think I have a lot of it just because, balancing, okay, this is who I am and this is what I want, but this is what my kids need too. And just going through all of that. So I think for me, it's constant trying to weigh that out where intellectually I know that it's ridiculous, right? That it is something we put on ourselves that we don't need, et cetera, et cetera. But then in like my unhealthy brain or oftentimes in my heart, it's like, well, but I've got to make up for it. I've got to make up for that time. I've got to make up for that time. And so then it's trying to figure out how to do it in healthy ways versus unhealthy ways.
Because we think by giving, you're showing love, but then also you're creating little monsters too. Because then they think, oh, this is how life should be, and everything's handed to me, and mom's going to give me. And then when you don't, it's like they don't know what to do with it. So I don't know. But I did find something on Facebook, not on Facebook. I found something on Instagram. Not on Instagram. What is this app? I'm gonna erase all this.
Edit that part out.
I'm gonna edit that part out because
found something somewhere.
I don't know what I'm talking about. On Pinterest. So it says 10 affirmations for mom guilt. I matter. I'm worthy of good things. I am strong. I am loved. I love myself. I am a good mom already because I love my kids. There are a million ways to be a good mom, I am making decisions for the best interest of my family. It's not my job to be perfect, but to show my kids grace and forgiveness. I forgive myself for my failures. And the last one says, God has called me to motherhood. Through him, I can do all things. And so I saw that and I just thought it was so beautiful and so true. So we just have to remember that. And yeah, any last comments before we get out of here? Rachel needs to go get that baby. That big baby. How old is she?
15.
15. The 15-year-old baby.
She I
know. Well, I love you ladies. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. I love having these conversations with you. And let's pick another topic and do it again.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. So I asked on Facebook for people to share some of their quotes that they would want to share with people. So in the next shows that I'm recording, I want to share some of these. So this one is from Kaylin Talley Harshaw. She shared this quote by Eleanor Roosevelt. So this will be the quote of the week. A woman is like a tea bag. You never know how strong it is until it's in hot water. And also, please, please, please continue to listen to the podcast, continue to share, rate wherever you're listening, rate the podcast. That way, it helps me get out there into the world. And I appreciate you all so much. See you next week.